Hi boys and girls, it's me Butch. It's the 20th of August 2017. It's a nice sunny day here in Vancouver, late in the afternoon, and I've been thinking all day that I should make a video because I haven't made one in a long time. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Terry David Silvercloud. I'm 72. I'll be 73 in another 2 months. I'm an artist, and oops, got you tied to my wrist here. I live in Vancouver. So what's been happening today in the news and yesterday and all, if you've been paying attention, is rallies happening all over the place with far-right groups and anti-racist groups. And what concerns me is that Donald Trump is disrupting our society in a really bad way with his encouragement of all of this. But I know I'm 72, and even if I was the richest person in the world, I could not change a thing. There'd be nothing I can do, so the only thing I can do is make a video, so I'm making a video. What else can I do? Maybe you'll see this and think about something, and something you may not have thought about, or share it. Share it! Anyhow, so what concerns me about these protests is false equivalencies. False equivalence is becoming normal, and that's where people take one thing and then create another thing that has sort of a ring that kind of sounds like this one. They're not the same thing, but people are easily confused, and you don't know what's true anymore. So if you're not somebody like me, and for those of you who don't know me, I'm a bit of a recluse. I'm kind of like that Sheldon Cooper guy on Big Bang Theory. I have my OCD issues and know-it-all and motor mouth and all that kind of thing. For me, I'm not easily confused because I know a lot, and I guess what I want to get across is that the one thing you can do is, if you're not well educated about the facts, then get the facts, the real facts. And the one thing I would like to encourage people to do is read the Quran. Look at a Quran. I have a Quran. I've read the Quran. Here's the Quran. The Quran preaches a lot of violence, and those of us that are more modern would say, well, yeah, that's just some old book. But for a young, illiterate, or not too well educated young person that didn't know any better and was really religious, the Quran actually says, I noticed this just a while ago, and I'm not even on the original script I thought I was going to be on here. This is in the Quran, and 2 double quote, the double quote mark, 216. Fighting is obligatory for you, much as you dislike it, but you may hate a thing although it is good for you, and love a thing although it is bad for you. God knows, but you know not. The point is that there's all kinds of stuff like that, and threats of horrific tortures if you don't do what you're told. So Islam means submit, and I'm really worried that the false equivalency going on is race being associated with religion, and that ain't the way it goes. The majority of religion in the world is Muslim, and most of them are quite nice folks that just do what they're told, and you can get through this. This is a real snooze. It's pretty horrific, but if you think it's boring trying to read the Bible, try reading the Quran. It's really boring. But I can tell you, most of the Quran is telling you to do what you're told, or you're going to have really horrific tortures in the afterlife. Especially if you're a man, there's not a lot of mention of what happens to women in the afterlife. One of the things that could happen in the Quran is if you go around saying, I'm a good Muslim and you're doing all the right things, this is what it says in part of the Quran, you profess to be a really good Muslim and then you croak and suddenly you're being judged and the good guys get to see what's going on because they can hear you screaming. You don't get to go to paradise, or at least not yet, because what's going to happen to you is your skin is going to all burn off and then regrow and burn off and regrow and burn off and regrow. And meanwhile, the good guys will be lying on couches in cool breezes, having a nice drink with an endless supply of virgins. They don't say in the Quran what happens to the virgins after they're no longer virgins, but if you're really faithful, you'll have an endless supply of them, so don't worry about the sex. We need to teach in school what the books really say for all religions. That's what we need to do, and stop confusing race with religions. The Jewish religion and the Islamic faith both have Abraham as their father. Like it says in the Quran, Abraham built the Kaaba and blessed it. The Kaaba is that thing they march around in Mecca. The cube building. That cube, by the way, is the same size, the same physical shape and size as the Holy of Holies in both the first and second temples. So technically there's already been 3 temples. There's the Kaaba, which was the first temple, which was 30 cubits by 30 cubits by 30 cubits. It's been rebuilt a few times. Then there was the first temple. And then it got destroyed. And then after Ezra came back to Jerusalem around 600 or 700, they rebuilt the temple, which was destroyed by the Romans in the Jewish-Roman War of 68 to 70. We need to somehow start teaching religions, and all of them, to all our students in school. We're not teaching religion. We've got to let people know what these books say. So what you don't know can't hurt you, and stop confusing the color of a person's skin with their belief. The far right, they're mainly Christian and white. They're becoming as dangerous as the fundamentalist Islamic types. They really believe they're right. The Roman Catholic Church, technically their goal is to rule the world as Jesus as God, where in the Islamic faith, Jesus was just some prophet, and apparently not a very good one, just as Muhammad was a prophet. There is no Son of God business. That's like blasphemy to a Muslim. Son of God, get over it. If you read the Old Testament, there were lots of sons of God and Nephilim that were around before the flood. That's what God wanted to get rid of. Get rid of the sons of God. Read your Bible, it's in there. You should read it. The Jewish faith really got going when Moses came down off the mountain with the 10 Commandments, and the people were still screwing up. So he said to the Levites, one of the tribes, okay, you guys are going to be in charge, and here's the way it's going to be. And just after he came down off the mountain, they immediately executed 3,000 of the really less than faithful. And the rule was that every 7th day you're going to show up for church, or else you're dead. That's the rule. You should read it. It's in the Bible. My big rant today is about telling you to educate yourself, whoever you are, about other people's religions, whether you believe them or not. I consider all religions evil. I'm an atheist. The very idea of a God that rules intelligent life forever, creates it, and then rules it forever, I just think that's a very evil concept. And if you read your Bible, the reason God kicked Adam and Eve out of the garden he was really ticked off that, they disobeyed him, and what happened when they ate the apple was they became self-aware. They were robotic before then, but now they were totally self-aware of, oh my God, I'm me. Me, Adam, you, Eve. And he didn't like that. Now they were self-aware, and so if you read your Bible, you see the reason he kicked them out of the garden was they might get access to the tree of life, and then they would be immortal, just like the gods. They would live forever, self-aware beings that never died. So God kicked them out of the garden and really made it nasty. Once you're outside the garden, that was pretty nasty in those days. And he put the flaming swords at the garden gate so they could not, so the AI, the self-aware intelligence that God accidentally created, would not get access to a tree of life. In the Jewish religion, when you're dead, you're dead. If you're Orthodox, you're gone. It all happens in this life right here. There is no heaven, there is no hell. And the Jews aren't trying to convert you. They don't want you. And, you might even have to prove you're a Jew, like you've got to somehow have some direct line somewhere. Conversion, well, that's not going to cut it with the Orthodox people. Yeah, sure, you're Jewish. Yeah, right, he's Jewish. And you also got to get your weenie snipped. So if you're going to be Jewish or Muslim, if you're a guy, you've got to be circumcised. You must be circumcised. So you cannot be Muslim or Jewish. You must be circumcised. That was really handy back in the days when people were fighting, because a lot of times they fought naked, and so especially in the days of the Jews before the Muslims were around, they could tell who the enemy was. They were the guys that had different weenies. And I don't know what I was going to go on about here, except that I'm really a little concerned about racism, the color of skin being confused with religion, and somehow people are mowing these two together. And as we know, with Hitler and all that, that was not a good mix. So I think I'm going to run out of time because I've yacked on too much. My name is Butch. I encourage you to learn about religion, learn where they came from. Like people think the Mayans were really ancient. In 500 BC, the Mayans were just coming out of the hunter-gatherer stage and becoming farmers. In 500 BC, what was going on back then? We're coming on to the time of Socrates and stuff in the other side of the world. Read some history and don't confuse color of skin with religion. I'm going to shut up. Bye-bye. I got to press a button here. Oh, I'm still recording, I think. Nice sunny day. This is what I'm painting right now, this sucker right here. It'll get done soon, I hope. Bye-bye.